if it is something not to do with the mark assessment or exams, maybe you pay less attention. But as you have experienced test one, some of the question could also be a bit of general knowledge, just a little bit, and sometimes it's just based on explanation in the class as well as a discussion in the class, because I want all of you to learn from each others. Okay. So do we have any representative from Group 4 here?
Hi, Doctor. Can Doctor hear me clearly?
Yeah, sure. Hi.
Yeah, I'm opening my
See you.
camera as well. Yeah,
Thank you.
so hello everyone. We are from Group 4 Biomedical Science. So we are going to talk about Saudi Arabia during 1980. So firstly, what we can observe here is like the total populations during 1980 is 9.6 billion. And for the median age, as you can see in the middle row there, we indicate with the red boxes there. So the median age is around 18.4. Yep. Then I think I will give my presentations to my teammates to present lah. Yep.
Yep. Hi, doctor. So I'll talk about fertility rate. So basically, in 1980, the fertility rate for each woman is 7.24 birth. Like, it's really a lot as compared to now. While in 1980, for their life expectancy for each person is 62.863 years. Yep. Yeah. And yeah, I'll pass to another teammates of us as well.
Hello, doctor. Okay, so now I will present about the infant mortality rate in 1980. So the infant mortality rate is 59.05 per 1,000 birth. So as you can see from the graph, the infant mortality rate is decreased every year. So it is actually a good sign. And next, I will talk about the population pyramid. So this is actually an ideal population pyramid with a broader base, and also it sharpens at the tapering. So this is also a good population pyramid size, as it has broader base because it predicts that it has higher fertility rate than mortality rate. So next, I will pass to my teammate to present the next one. Thank you.
Hi, Doctor. So I'm Hong Liang. I'm the last person to present for Group 4. So I will be presenting about the highest number of cases, COVID cases in 2021, which is on 29 of June, 1,567 cases. And the mortality rate as of 6 January of 2021 is 1.7%, based on the number there. You guys can have a look there. And on the right side of the small paper there, you can see that's actually the trend of mortality rate throughout the whole COVID-19 when COVID-19 is happening in Saudi Arabia. And yeah, so fun facts of Saudi Arabia, we actually took it on 1980, so it's a bit boring. But basically on 1980, Saudi Arabia takes full control of Aramco, which is one of the biggest petroleum company, if I'm not mistaken, from US. And later, these are some of the small facts that is happening in 1980. And other than that, we have like the biggest airport, King Khalid Airport in Daman. And also lastly, those are the top 3 causes of death in 2019 of all ages. Yeah, is there diabetes, road injuries, and what was that? Falls. Yeah.
Oh, okay, hold on, thank you. I just wondering what's false means here. Is it false due to accidents or frail? Do you have an idea?
Maybe I will need some help from my teammates.
I found it for this information, but I think it's due to accidents, like falls from. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
It is interesting because usually we less likely to see falls as one of the major cause of accidents. Is there anything happens in that year, like uneven road or unstructured buildings that people tend to fall?
I'm not quite sure about this, but my understanding maybe is that in Mecca, maybe sometimes there is like overstepping of people. Yeah, there's some cases in Mecca I have heard
that
before,
is
and
true.
it might play a role in that situation. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. There's high potential of that during the Hajj, yeah, pilgrims. Ah, thank you very much. You give a good idea. That's even more relevant reasons. Thank you, Honla. And thank you, the whole groups. I don't know why all of you are very shy. You just open for a while, a few seconds, and then you turn it off. Basically, we can see is this the ideal population is kind of the almost not really most ideal, but kind of what we usually expected as to be a bit ideal, and it's 1980s, right? I like this group when they even do some a bit of comparison in terms of the percentage here, proportion here, and also some information that is interesting. I just wonder about this uh, Arabia takes full control from Aramco. How about now? Do you know what happened now in terms of the oil? Is it Saudi
Uh,
Arabia fully controlled or
I
by the
believe it's
US?
still state owned. I believe it's still state owned.
Okay, okay. Where is Dammam? The airport Dammam here.
I'll need help from my team also.
Anyone familiar with Dammam area in Saudi? I don't know where is Dammam area is. Is it close to the where people do the pilgrims, the Hajj? Anyone from Saudi Arabia who are maybe more familiar? Ada? Okay. Okay, well, anyway, thank you to this group for the presentations. Stay tuned for this group because we want to see some comparison. Maybe we can have a bit of discussion because what you can see here for the next group is a bit different in terms of the year. Hold on. 2020. We started with 1980 kan just now, right? Do we have the group that going to present the latest version of Saudi Arabia?
Yes, doctor.
Okay, maybe group 3, anyone? You can keep the discussion going on.
Okay. Hello, doctor. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to doctor and friends. We are from Group 3, and today we will be presenting the data for Saudi Arabia in 2020. Okay, I'll start first with the population in million. So in 2020, the population of Saudi Arabia is about 34.8 million, where there is actually a slight increase from the previous year due to increase in migration rate or influx of expatriates from across the world. Okay, the next one is median age, which is around 31.8 years, which means that Saudi Arabia is full of young people. And in fact, about 2/3 of the population is under the age of 35 years old. Okay, now I'll pass the presentation to my other group members.
Okay, next is fertility rate. So fertility rate is the number of children that will be born to a woman in a specific year. So for 2020 in Saudi Arabia, the fertility rate is 2.24 birth per woman. It is actually fell gradually from 1918, which is 7.21. From what I have found, there's no specific reasons or factors. It was just basically because they had a better family planning and high education level of women. Next is life expectancy. Life expectancy is 75.28, is just a little bit increased from 1980, which is 62.863. So it is because of better living conditions and growing health consciousness that contribute to an increase in life expectancy rate in Saudi Arabia. Next, I will pass to Fitri.
Okay, now we're moving to the population pyramid, maybe on the next slide. Okay, so here is the population pyramid of the Saudi Arabia in 2020. So one good question put by Doctor here. So from the population pyramid, we can see that in the middle age group, it has been slightly shifted to the male, more to the male compared to the female. And from our findings, we have found that there are two reasons. If reason number one, we can see that in terms of the nationalities, there is about 10.6 million of male and 10.2 million of female in Saudi Arabia who were actually the Saudis. So in terms of gender, they are closely similar proportion. However, from the 34 million people, there are 10 million are non-nationalists. And these non-nationalists are mostly expatriates and immigrants that mostly male and working in the oil sector industry and the finance. So in terms of nationality, male and female of the Saudis are the same, but because we included the non-national, so it has shifted more to the male compared to the female.
Okay, interesting.
Then the second reason I think is not so contributed to the proportion. Second reason is because the Saudi Arabia is a gender segregated country with strict restriction and on the women's right and freedom. So this has prompted more privilege on the male compared to the female. So this has prompted the female to maybe to go outside for a better living, a better employment and lifestyles.
You mean the female tend to migrate outside?
Yes. But actually there is some culture which they tend to not allow the woman to stay alone. Mean that women must stay with their guardians. I don't know, because the second reason is not like I don't know.
Okay. Fitri, so second reason, is this based on your reading or your group population make a speculation, hypothesis, try to guess, or you read somewhere, your group read somewhere?
I read somewhere, but maybe you became biased because this statistic came from the Western point of view.
Okay, yep. Unless it is something from the government data, kan? Government reports, maybe there's a more reliable sources directly from the data, like the statistic data, for example, migration of the women in that particular year among this age group tend to be high. Then maybe you can do speculation based on the data. So if you don't really have the data, maybe from the report we have to know where the sources of the information comes in. But it is still something speculating by the other resources information. Okay. Interesting the way you are explaining this. I never thought that is the main reason as number one. I was thinking something to do with the it's not really about the birth rate that was high among male in the 30 years ago, but this is too much difference. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay, you want to continue?
I know. I think that's all for my my part. I will pass it to my other group members.
Okay. So group 3 and 4 later on, maybe we can discuss a bit about this country. So stay tuned.
I think I will proceed with the next one. We're going to take a look at the COVID cases, latest COVID cases for Saudi Arabia. Maybe Doctor can go to the previous slide.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Right.
This one?
Yeah.
Next slide?
Yeah. No, the previous one.
New one? Betul?
Yeah, betul.
Okay.
Alright, so for the latest COVID cases, as of 11 of April 2022, for Saudi Arabia, the new cases is 130. So this is actually very, very low compared to the previous group that the new cases are like reached 1,000 of new cases actually. So I think the reason, in my opinion, the reason would be because of the vaccination status. based on my readings, the statistic for 2022, actually, there are like 70% of population that are fully vaccinated, and booster are being administered to like 30% of the population. So this is on 2022. So that's probably why the cases declined very rapidly compared to 2020 year. Yeah. So I think next I will pass to Amira to share to us about the mortality rate. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Nabila. Okay, right now I'm gonna explain about latest mortality rate 2002. For the graph that has been shown, there was two line on it, which is for death rate and also recovery rate. So I'm gonna explain about the death rate, which is basically for the first 2020 is just a standard the standard value. I mean, like there was not really hype, but it start to rise when 20 March 2020, which is the time the outbreak of COVID-19 over all the world, and then the statistic is kind of um, what we say what we say in English statistic, and then it starts to going down on May 27, 2020, and it goes statistic again until the death rate on 11 April 2022 is 1.21%. Um, oh, sorry. I think, yeah, just that from me, and I'm going to pass to my other friends.
Anyway, I'm going to ask one question related to this. Do you know when is the lockdown in that country? Anyone from your groups or previous group? Saudi Arabia group. Do you know when is the lockdown of the country? Okay, just a question for you to think. Why is suddenly we have high here and it is going up spike, but then it's very fast as well, decline back again. Okay, next person want to say something?
Oh, yeah. I will be presenting the fun fact. So may doctor move to next page.
Okay. Oops. This one, Winnie?
Yeah. Okay. So one of the fun fact is Saudi Arabia have the Grover oil field, which is the largest oil reserve in the world, with an estimate 75 billion barrels of oil left. To put in the context, the oil field has enough reserve to fill 4,770,897 Olympic-sized swimming pools. So to make it easier to understand is a liter of potable water is more expensive than a liter of fuel in this Saudi Arabia. So that's all for me. I will pass to Winnie.
Okay, so for my part, it's like Jeting part is more like a very formal fact. Mine is like a really fun fact. So Saudi Arabia is actually quite famous for their camels, and they are known as the world's largest camel market that sells about 100 camels a day. It is mainly because in the past they are mainly used they are the main transport for people over there, but nowadays it's still I wouldn't say it's the main transport, but it still play a very important role, be it in the transport and also as the food in the slaughterhouse. And as you can see here, there are like, oops, I can't really see the number, 53% of 1.6 million camel populations within the Arabian Peninsula. It belongs to Saudi. So it kind of like emphasizes on how much camel it really is being contributed from this area. And also the last point would be like other than being as a transport or also food, they also use it as a raising activities for the camels. And there is one Janadriya National Festival that they have this camel race with a distance of about 19 km that was joined by 2,000 participants. So yeah, this is just a fact for you to know that camel plays a very important role in Saudi Arabia. I think that's all from our group. Thank you.
Thank you, Winnie, and thank you everyone from Group 3. Can I have Group 3 and 4 in this discussion, please? If you can turn on your video, that would be great as well. Senang nak tengok. Okay, so my question, because all of you have seen both groups, right? So the first question, maybe the very first question, why do you think there's a spike? Thank you to all of you that turned on the video. I really appreciate it. Okay, why do you think there's a spike on that particular day and then it reduced very fast for Saudi Arabia? Try to think. Anyone can also answer. Anyone want to turn on the video? You are more than welcome.
Hello, doctor.
Hi.
Okay, for the question, why this sudden spike, and then how did the number recover, rise down quickly? Because from my finding, it is stated that the first case founded in Saudi Arabia reported in March 2nd, 2020, and Saudi Arabia Kingdom, they quickly adopted the lockdown strategy on March 8th, 2020. Within the gap only within a week for them to implement the lockdown.
Do you know the cases of COVID-19 at that particular time? Around how many cases? In average?
For the global COVID-19.
In Saudi.
Oh, in Saudi, because I didn't find that one yet.
Okay, that's fine. Because this is just my thinking. Do you know, because we have the pilgrim, maybe people do umrah at that time. So once the COVID cases occurs, it can occurs very fast in a short time, and that's why the death spikes. For example, like in Malaysia, although we have the case, but it's pretty slow because we don't have any gathering until we know the gathering for the, you know what we call it, what gathering we call it? Cluster apa? In Malaysia, you know? What's the one of the big cluster?
Cluster tabligh, doctor?
Cluster tabligh. Yeah, when there's a huge gathering. So I think that maybe can cause like a spike, and then suddenly it's reduced back again due to lockdown and stop of the activities for Umrah. I think it closed for 1 whole year, right? Or 1 or 2 years, right? Okay, thank you. So these also, if you know, with other countries, for example, like in Korea, what else? Few countries where there's a events. Do you know the one of the popular cluster in Korea related to religion?
Is it the Catholic religious?
Bagus Fitri. Yes, it's also where they have like a gathering, and I think it's even been done illegally because they couldn't do any gathering, but they do the gathering, and then COVID-19 cases occurs at that time. So it was like a big spread and becoming one of huge cluster. Anyone have heard about cluster in the US? About related to religion as well, where it's not that big cluster, but almost all people involved in that groups died. Have you heard? No? It happened in the church where there's a Christian community, but many old people. So they were singing, they were singing and praying. Because of that, they don't really wear masks. So it's easily spread, and almost like I think 80% of them died. So, which is sad because it's many old people. Yeah. So be familiar with all these popular clusters so we can learn a lot from there. Okay. So Group Saudi, comparison, fertility rate increase or reduce from 80 to 2020, 1980, 2020. You all should be familiar by now. Apa tu? Tanda je. I can see HL and Bing. You're doing like this one and this. Increase, reduce. Fertility rate, fertility.
Reduce, doctor.
Reduce. Berapa tu berapa? The number?
7.21 to 2.24.
Okay. So for all the rest of other countries in this Jamboard, have a look. Is it also same trend? Okay. How about the infant mortality or maternal mortality or the mortality? Is it similar, reduce, or increase in Saudi? Baru nak tengok. When your friend presents, so you should, the one that you are doing the task, for example, your task is on fertility, have a look straight away. So you are more familiar with the data.
Doctor, we think that it's decreased because if there is modernization, there must be a decrease in mortality. Wait, sorry, what's the what mortality rate?
Yeah.
Sorry, the infant mortality rate. I can't find the word.
Okay. Yeah. So from what to what number? Are you all familiar?
I think from 59.05 to 6.0.
Can you see that? This is a huge decrease. Can you try to, maybe this group, any of you, try to think why this is a huge decrease? Hong said just now is maybe due to modernization. What else? I mean, in particular, in what aspects that make it reduced so much? You can just give your opinion. It's okay. Doesn't has to be fact.
Good medical services.
Yeah. Healthcare services. And also, do you see the population pyramid has shifted and changed? And Fitri said something related to do with that as well. Why? Come on, I want you all to think. So what makes the population difference? Okay, Fitri said something just now, the number one reason. How does it reflect with the modernizations or any other things? Maybe you don't just shy to say. Anyone can say it. Tak ada?
Maybe family planning could be one of the reason.
Okay, yes, maybe they have good family planning as well as family planning. Okay, but also
I don't think no.
Okay.
Mortality. sorry.
So you see, there's a huge increase in terms of a number of number of professionals coming in the country as well. So they have more as well people with if you work in especially UAE or Saudi, usually professionals like maybe pakar, what we call it, specialists, specialist consultants in medical as well coming into the country. So all of that also contribute to better health outcomes in long run. So modernization is one thing, and also education as well as healthcare facilities is better in a country, and you can see huge reductions from 59 something to 6. That's a very huge thing of improvement. That's why epidemiology plays a important role here in terms of public health. Okay, what else? Maybe we can only have one group then. Group lain you can say for the rest. What else we have here? Life expectancy. How much difference? How many years difference from before to now? Baru nak kira.
In 1980, it's 62 years old, and then in 2020, it's 75. It's increasing.
Okay. So the population pyramid is also different, right? Although in 1980s look like more like ideal in terms of the number of population in each group, where we have more young people and middle people and older people lower. But the current one, the shape is a bit distorted because of the number of males here. But we can see, if you see the population pyramid, if you go to Jamboard and see the population pyramid for male and female here, is up to 100 plus, right? But for the other group, it's more to 85 as the kind of maximum. So you can see that's also shifted. Okay, and then the next question would be about, have you all heard about the race? The race in the camel race, King's Cup camel race. Anyone knows more about that? There's also some interesting like is a issue has been raised about that race. Anyone knows about that? Tak tahu eh. Do you know who actually ride the horse, the camel at that time? Back then in 1980s maybe, because this race is more like a tradition race. They've been doing that for a very, very long time, and it's a favorite event in Saudi. And do you know who ride the camel? Because okay, if you think kan, for a camel to go very fast, what kind of body size we need for people to ride?
Lighter, like
Yeah,
not so heavy.
makes sense, lighter, right? So back then it was children's. They are the one that riding the camel. Correct me if my fact is wrong. That's what documentary I've watched long time ago. It was children's that ride the camel, and it has been issues because children's involved. And also there has been issues about the camel. I can't really remember the full documentary, but there's a issues about that, and they have shifted and changed the way they do the competition to make it more what we call it, not legal, more they shift change to make it better, like in terms of for the camel as well as for the
So
children.
is it
Yeah.
I saw like child
Uh-huh.
trafficking to support the camel raising last
Yeah,
time.
yeah. It's not not the Saudis child. Sometimes even a child that's not Saudi. Just to ride a camel for the competition for adult to enjoy it. So that was an issue back then, but nowadays I think they has changed it. Have a look. What happened nowadays? Is it they do change it or they don't change it? I don't know. Okay. Okay, and then yeah, I think anything you want to share about Saudi Arabia? Do you agree with the second point from Fitri about, it's not agree or not agree, what do you think about that? About the maybe some segregation in terms of gender? Have you heard, have you read anywhere?
Doctor, in my
Mhm.
opinion, that based on the culture in the Saudi Arabia, because they
Mhm.
more, it's not like prefer, it's more like they, what we call that, prioritize on the male compared to the female. So maybe during this early 20s modernization, globalization era, so they have given the rights to the women as well, but it also may concern the conservative generation of the Saudi Arabia, because they seem like this term of modernization can become like more Americanization, like they have left behind their culture and their religious aspects. This is what being concerned in the conservative generation. But it's a good thing because Islam also teach fair to male and female, right?
Yeah. Good point, Fitri. Anyone has any other point? So you know back then people, women can't drive at all, but then because people, even women, it's true where many women also go out to get educated, I mean for the higher levels, and they come back here, or even they create more awareness and they fight in the parliaments, and eventually women now can drive. Have you heard about that issues before? You all are aware that there's kind of things happen, yeah? Ada, okay, good. Yeah, as well as many other things has been raised, and it's true. Fitri said just now, conservative people kind of against it, but we have a bit of now more balance towards more like to treat fair among any genders. But it's still happening, and I've read few books about the story insights, especially inside there's a one storybook about princess. Have you heard about that storybook? And also a few other storybook but true story. Yeah, I like to read that kind of biography book. If you read, is something shocking lah, shocking I would say. But I don't know, that's a based on a few authors tell the stories. We don't know the whole story until we read everything, like any side of stories. Okay, yeah. So thank you very much to all that to these groups that present, as well as try to participate in the discussions. Maybe you can have more interesting discussion as well for next group. We have Brazil kan, and also Chile, right? In maybe tomorrow we can have the discussion as well, because the few two topics is just a small topics to discuss in terms of giving the lecture as well as discussion. Any other question from you all? Can't wait to go to the next class or have a break. Okay. All right. So thank you. I like to have to see all of you in front of the screen, and maybe in the coming, maybe not to next week, a few more weeks, if possible, we can do physical class. I have to ask Dr. Eliani whether she want to do physical class or online class, because we can do a physical class nowadays, but not for next week because it's a public holiday anyway on next Monday. Okay. So I think that's all. Have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay. Okay, bye. Assalamualaikum. And I think I messaged 2 persons. I want to meet them after just a quick chat. Please stay to those 2 persons.
Thank you, doctor.
Thank you,
Doctor.
Thank you,
Alright.
doctor.
By the way, I put the results for your test 1 in ESMP. Winnie, ada nampak tak? Have you able to see your results?
Yes, doctor.
Yes, doctor.
Ada. Okay, and the results kan actually is combination from test 1 and quiz. So it's 23%, not 20%. Yeah.
Okay, doctor. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, doctor.
Thank you, doctor. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
doctor.